Hello and welcome on this Valentine's Day where we profess our love through bullets, missiles, rocket hammers, flails, anti-nades, shurikens, and whatever the hell you have. I will be your play-by-play caster, BellyOW. With me is the ever-wonderful Moxie as we get into GitGud Season 4.5. Moxie, what can we expect?
I mean, pop the party banners, Bell. We can expect so much. We are back ready for this half season, and what a half season it's gonna be. Blizzard has just chucked a cannon straight into the ocean, and everyone is still trying to figure out what exactly they're meant to be pulling apart from it. There is so many things that I'm seeing teams coming up with. We've had 2 off supports being viable. We've seen that coming to fruition in open division and finding so much success. We've seen Moira being matched up with Anna, and I think something that no one expected to see coming back. We've had D.Va. D.Va is suddenly back and big in Overwatch, and along with it, that oh so annoying opportunity to have all of your ultimates gobbled up and away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like D.Va just back in meta. Like we've seen it in Overwatch League, which is also lovely that it is back. Like we're having loads of fun. But judging from that and tier 2 and tier 3, D.Va's back. Lucio is still there. Hasn't left since Goats came around. And yeah, but we're getting so many different things going on. We're getting different picks. We're getting different DPS picks, different support picks. I enjoy this meta box.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna agree with you 100%, Val. It is one of my favorite metas to cast because so many balmy bonker things can be happening, and it's not that meta where you had that double shielding where everyone had to play around the immortality field and that was the only way they would find any value, which wasn't really a skill. More it was just keep your Batiste alive until the grav comes through and just, put it on down. But now we're getting to see the outplay potential, and I mean, we love to see it. We love to see the Rhines trying to outplay each other when they've both got Shatter up. Now the Dance of Ultimates, it's between that Mei and the off-tank, whether they're going to get their Blizzard to find any sort of value or whether it's just going to be taken off the table entirely.
That is a major thing. Maybe we'll get Zarya back, and maybe we'll get like there's a lot of things that you can see come back here because this is GitGud. It is organized teams for this half season that we've got, so that is going to definitely affect what we're going to be seeing. And we're currently in the intermediate division, so this is diamond teams versus each other. We will first start by watching the Eclipse Quasar team versus Quicksilver.
And interesting teams, to be sure. I don't think we have seen either of them in action, so this is gonna be their first showing for the both of us. Fingers crossed it will be a good one. Well, this competition is first to 3, so there is more than a possibility that this could be quite a long, drawn-out series. Certainly feels like it could be, looking at all of the hero picks that these guys have been given. A lot of Widowmaker coming out from the side of Quicksilver, it seems.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's Widowmaker a fair bit. I'm seeing it as well for Quasar. Like there's a lot of different picks that you can get, and we're going to be seeing what this will be giving in Mecha Base first.
Yeah, Mecha Base, one of those ones. Busan being a bag of maps where you can run pretty much anything depending on the map that you get. Mecha Base is one of those where you don't see that pharmacy, but, well, I hate to say it, we're going to be seeing a lot of Mei. Small, close-knit corridors, perfect to just wall off a main tank and allow your team to jump on that poor, unfortunate soul.
It is a lot of CC that you can get with that Mei, which would probably be seeing just a lot of in general.
And I think Mei is the must pick of one of those DPS slots, and so the question really does fall down to what do you want in your second? Do you want to go for that McCree to try and dissuade the flankers with the flashbang? Do you want to go for the Reaper so that you can get that brawl composition going on of the shotguns chipping away at the tank's HP to allow your team to get the rest of the cleanup connecting? It seems as if both of these teams, when not coming out of the spawn doors, will be going for that option, trying to just get that Reaper in there. Really, the impact on that one is going to be felt in the slug fight. The D.Va being on the field with that defense matrix. Well, Death Blossom is not going to be handling
Well, we've got Eclipse Quasar in the red, we've got Quicksilver in the blue as these teams move forward to grab a bit of a fight on the high ground. Both of them going for a very heavy approach. Nice one to split off the main tank. That's Artemis already down. No more available as we see the push coming in from Eclipse Quasar. Explosion further, but Quicksilver just still holding back ever so slightly. Nice anti-nade. Not going to find that much value in the end as the mate gets the block off. And it is Eclipse Quasar across the back, but now the runner has come back already. He's still staying alive. The point has been grabbed by Quicksilver. So the once again with that coalescence already up. We also dropped the goal as Artemis. This is the first drop once again. Main tank gone. And we do have Eclipse Quasar grabbing the first fight.
And that is the importance of running a Moira instead of running Diana. You pick your ultimate first, and that allows you to initiate the fight, get really aggressive, and push the team off the point. And we see exactly that happening. Eclipse Quasar is going to be occupying this corridor, making sure that Quicksilver really do have to fight to get through that choke. Looks like they don't want to take that door. They're going to head for door number 2. But it might be death running up the ultimate coming their way.
It's the Shatter that comes in first. Radlat already dropping quite low. That's the time for Shatter. Also getting hit quite that much. But Artemis with the initial pick of Reinhardt going to dress him. A nice follow-up. Nano onto Artemis. Going in long with the charge. Dark is again to take it out. That wasn't at the end. A bit of a waste, but Quicksilver did manage to bring it back.
Could be a little bit of overkill, but at the same time, Jackal is one of the ultimates where you try to find any value that you can in this meta though, with that defense matrix being up. So you see your opportunity, you seize it, you get a couple of kills your way, and it allows you to cement that point in your favor. Really, the main battle that these guys are going to be fighting is going to be this next engagement. Both the Blizzards are online, and the sign barrier is there. You do have a little bit of advantage, but the Deeps can still get that defense matrix and take it entirely all.
Back to the point, and now with their own Death Blossom, the bomb's coming in from both. Darkin with 3. The Coalescence cleaning up a 4th, and Quasar will just clean it up big time and grab the point back quickly.
And neither team had to use the book, and that's really what we're going to be seeing in this next fight battle. Because both of these guys have one of those just team fight winning ultimates on their side. Neither of the Lucius have the science barrier, so none of the teams have that sustainability on their side, which means again it's going to be up to the main tank. If one is able to get the eat and the other one isn't, a huge advantage goes their way.
Hold, but the Blizzard doesn't get eaten. He's already seen the first kill coming on through. Quasar looking very coordinated, very controlled, and will just hold on to it. And with 86% is last fight.
This is last fight, but Quicksilver, they died so quickly they weren't able to use the blitz. They're going to be going below now, trying to get that touch onto the point as it ticks towards that final percentage that he needs. Well, he does have the shadow.
Oh, but no, it's on the point! Quicksilver, unfortunately, doesn't make it to the point. Means Eclipse Quasar gets the first round here on Mecha Bait.
Oh, that's the painful one. When you were right there and you see that point slipping away in front of your very eyes, Val. Really as well, Radlad having that Blizzard online should have been the fight-winning ultimate that Quicksilver so desperately needed, but unfortunately they just weren't able to get the contest while going down. And so they're going to be asking a couple of questions about whether or not anyone should really have been closer to that point when they knew that they'd have to get that contest while going. Unfortunately though, it is the first sub-map. Teams do still take a little bit of time to warm up and headed up to Sanctuary. Well, that's a different ballpark entirely. What works on Mecha Base does not work on this map. The open skies, the amount of places that flankers can find value, you're seeing it in both teams. Putting in that McCree, wanting to just try to get him going around the side and picking off one of those key supports early in the fight.
That McCree, that is one big one to watch out for. The fight erupts, it's a huge accident already. McCree ollie down. The second pick as well as Quicksilver just runs over Quasar this time around. And it looks like it will be grabbed to put
Like that one was all the way off the back of that one. He actually does monkey. The ultra is actually insane for this Anna, 55% in that first fight. And it wasn't a fight though, it was an absolute slaughter for Eclipse Quasar. Quasar. They're running the Diva, but she does have to start worrying putting those defense matrices in when those antis are coming on down, because if it connects the team where we're already seeing Quicksilver will just press the advantage, press W, and walk all over Quasar.
Definitely. Again, another huge nade finding feet. Once more, Ollie and Sumi both the first to go. Still pushing in an auto boost, but
But what Eclipse Quasar are doing here is trying to build it up to a couple of ults that they can use to try and throw this fight on this. As I say that though, they're just gonna swap Can You Hear Me off that Moira, giving up 94% of the coalescence to try to have some antis coming in of their own. But Quicksilver, they've already got 44% on the board. The swapping is a little bit too late, and well, coalescence could have just opened up the next fight entirely.
But I do, and that's now here looking as well with that search. Pretty soon Shadow doesn't find anything. Nice block coming in from the Quasar, the perfect Quicksilver. Reinhardt bomb finds Kadios, however. With a nice charge in the backline. Can you hear me? Can you definitely hear that? We'll get traded out for that, and it's now the Stacker comes in on the mini defense.
Well, now is this risk, because neither of these teams are really running anything at the moment that can try to really protect their supports. If those Annas start getting dove or even picked apart, you saw Artemis actually just going straight for Can You Hear Me in that last engagement. That's the reason why the rank goes down. He's caught away from his team, but he takes the Anna along with him. That main support just immediately cut off. When you take that away, it loses this natural sustain your team, especially for the blizzard that both of these teams now have online. Kadios does not have the time barrier. This is key for Quicksilver. They have the advantage in the fight.
Using it, another shatter. Well blocked as the high move comes in the backline. And BOG doesn't seem to do that much. Followed up by the Blizzard, but it gets a Hurricane move. Takes away that win finish entirely. High move will get the Ana. Will that be enough to turn it around? The Nano comes up as well, but the May Ice Block, no damage taken. Still going to be on point, 60% on the counter for the Quasar. They're still holding on to this.
That beat was key. That was the thing that they absolutely had to do. And he just now gets that sign barrier on them. Staggering out Quicksilver as well. Come into this next fight when they're a full team now. You can see Artemis is just edging around the side, doesn't really want to go in, but has that opportunity to get a little bit of a firefight on his back.
Routing tower to forward barrier.
Look at that. 85% on the counter. We're looking at last fight territory. So we're gonna have to start pushing in. Trying to get some ult charge here early in the fight. The wall of Reinhardt just after this Sun barrier though. He's gonna keep everyone alive. Down to Shatter. Two down together with the Blizzard. Ollie will start racking up the kills. Overtime will start counting down as anyone who could have tried to get their feet on the point. We've got an Eva and a Lucian there. The bomb will not find anything. Only by just ever so slightly bit of time. And as well. Bombard was still getting taken out. Ranrock on the legs. Artemis getting charged out. It's still a stagger fight. Just keep on coming in. But he's not going to be able to hide away from the trees here. Tracer, the next one to come along. It's going to be soon to die. The Nano getting invested as well, but it's not enough. Eclipse Quasar will grab the first match.
We're seeing that very, very small window of opportunity that Quicksilver really had, the Blizzard that they so desperately wanted to put in that would have won them the team fight, denied entirely by defense matrix. You have to, in this first fight, respect the Diva, respect the next, respect the fact that Doc just picked up 3 kills. That is exactly why you have to hear the offense sound. He can do so much damage if left alone.
You have to really watch out for the Diva bombs and for the off times. There's so much you can do with so many things, but it was Eclipse Quasar that did more.
Yeah, I mean they got the one Blizzard eat that we saw, and they won the entire point arguably off the back of it, because you put it into the what if situation, right? What if Dake didn't manage to get that eat? What if Quicksilver were able to put the Blizzard in, and you had Eclipse Quasar just no sound barrier on their side. Well, they would all have been frozen up. You would see Quicksilver get the cleanup. They would start getting control of the point, and then you would have Eclipse Quasar trying to just get their foot in through the door, approach the point without losing anyone in those early rotations. A risk in itself, so hard to do, especially when you're running that Ana. Very easy to just get picked out of a fight early. And then maybe Quicksilver start racking up point percentage. Maybe they take it to 99%. Maybe Eclipse Quasar can't come back from that.
Like, there's a lot of maybes in there, but the Eat, as you mentioned, a huge play, getting that one out of the fight. It's such a big win condition. Getting it out, getting it gone, like, it locked them the map down. You had to produce some kind of huge play from Quicksilver to really get the victory in, and they indeed did not manage.
Yeah, the problem really trying to shut divas down is how, because currently Diva is, well, I've heard so many people compare to her to chunky HP Tracer. I myself like to think of her as a Mercy, just flitting all over the place, able to go both up and down and get out of so many pickles that she should not be able to climb out of, because those boosters, they're now on a 3-second cooldown. So all of that high risk, high reward play that you used to have when boosters were what they were before, when the Diva had to think, is it worth it going in, trying to get that defense matrix going off? Maybe I'm going to lose my mech, but maybe I'll save my team from a grab from a Blizzard. Now that's gone. Blizzard has just entirely destroyed the window that people used to be able to have to punish divas, because they can just go in, they can get the eat off, give it 3 seconds, and they can be immediately out of the fight. So we see divas just flit around like angry little mosquitoes, eating ultimates left, eating ultimates right, flying back to peel for their supports, flying back to the front line to keep their Rhine up, and she's just so many places at once, Bell, that it's a little bit mind-boggling.
It is a bit mind-boggling, and she's so extremely strong now. But I mean, her strength also comes from being able to eat those ultimates. Like, that is why you want her in this composition. And one key component as well, the Lucios. It's been a bit of a must pick, and the numbers are showing it, as he's got, I believe, a 90% pick rate or 91% pick rate in the Overwatch League so far. He's strong contender.
Well, at the moment, all of the compositions that people really gear up for is aggression. They either go for that small key of aggression with the 2 main supports, or just running the Moira with, or Ana with the Lucio, or they go with the out and out full on aggression with that Brig Lucio Zen matchup that sometimes just gets cycled on round. And Lucio, he's an enabler of that. That speed boost being reverted allows the Reinhardt to just go from so far away to suddenly immediately up into the enemy's faces, swing the hammer, being able to get out of dodge as well if you have that speed boost off cooldown for when you need that getaway car. The Lucio will more than happily taxi you out of danger.
It is the speed boost so strong. The sound barrier as well to deny a lot of stuff that you can throw at the enemy team. So yeah, a big player in this. But personally, again, and I know you like to point this out, for me, for me specifically, I'm just happy to see the Reinhardt again.
I was wondering when we would touch onto this one, Val. In fact, I'm surprised you're not singing the songs of praises of Counter Shadows after what we got to see on Busan, because that one was a beautiful one. I have a little mantra that the Rhine who shatters last tends to shatter harder.
Yes, but timing is key. If you shatter last, but just before you get hit, then yeah, bye shatter. It's unfortunate.
Matches are
And
supposed to be short and sweet, Val. As much as we know that some of my quotes can run on and on and on, we also know that they're supposed to fit onto a t-shirt. And
I can guarantee you, I can fit this on a t-shirt. I am capable of fitting this on a t-shirt.
Yeah, but that t-shirt has to be for a human, Val, not a python.
Okay, fair. But yes, we've seen the last map. We already know, and I know we're not in it, but we do know the next map is going to be Dorado. It's going to be an escort map. This has been already picked. It's escort. So I'm expecting, because it's meta, Ryan, Diva, Mei, Lucio. But what else?
Okay, so there's a couple of things that you can run in Dorado to find quite a lot of success. Here's the thing, you swap them out according to which point you're on. Because what you run in A, you don't necessarily always carry on through to B. Because A, while taking that chokehold, that annoying bridge that you get teams just stuck in for the whole remainder of the match, you want to have something that can just bust through it immediately. So you would go for a little bit of a death ball composition, not to allow the defense to get properly set up for when they try to go for that drop down. You would pick up a Reinhardt, you would go for a Diva, put a Reaper into the mix and a Mage, just get all of that CC nice and going. But when you get B, that's when high ground starts to become quite key, Val. So you might see something that, well, not a lot of players tend to be running with in this day and age. You might actually get to see Winston broken out of the zoo and replacing the Reinhardt or even a Hammond, because you have that Diva, you have that Hammond. It's not exactly your traditional dive, but it's still mobile enough that you can start really punishing support play and taking the high ground from your enemies.
Absolutely, though one thing to keep in mind, this is on the new live patch, which has a bit of a Hammond nerf in it.
It does, but really, the real Hammond nerf, and this will always be a thing, Val, Sombra.
Oh,
Sombra
that's
is just a 24/7 Hammond nerf. Anytime that anyone locks into a Sombra, a Hammond main is said to curl up in a ball and die. And unfortunately, not even clapping your hands will bring them back.
no, but there are still so many teams that for some reason, when running into a Hammond, don't really feel like playing the Sombra. So why would that be?
Well, because EMP is, yes, one of the most impactful ultimates, but it is also so hard to actually build up in this day and age. Because you see that all of these heroes who were very good for the Sombra spy check, the Diva especially, are suddenly in forefront of the meta. McCree as well is a very strong presence at the moment in that DPS lineup, and so if the Sombra goes for that hack onto the main tank, onto the support, well, there's normally a flashbang with her name written on it to make her think twice about trying
That
to
is
target
definitely a way to
vulnerable
deal
ground.
with the Sombra. As we load into Dorado, we've got Eclipse Quasar on defense, Quicksilver on offense. I don't know. Will we see dive or will we just see the run diva?
I think if anyone is gonna run dive, then it's gonna be Eclipse Quasar. These guys are very much showing that they're a very aggressive team who just want to get straight on in there and get the kills going their way. But if you look on the defensive side, this is something that I think we both expected, Bell. They're gonna opt in for that May, and you kind of have to because, well, we pointed out so many times, but almost it feels every choke in Overwatch is just perfectly sized for a really nicely placed May wall. You can just you can actually even just take a tape measure to the dimensions and you'll find that they fit near perfectly.
I mean, the May wall here, especially on this chokehold, is very, very precise.
And so if you are Eclipse Quasar and you do have your Reinhardt trying to come on down, you are gonna have to be communicating with your Lucio so carefully, because no one can step into that chokehold solo, otherwise they would be walled up and sent off.
Well, this is something painful now to see as a Reinhardt getting all of those fire strikes. Even there's no ultimate charge coming in until you actually get the fight coming on through. That's the last fire strike that doesn't get eaten, but also hits a wall as a rotation comes in from the Eclipse Quasar. We're going to see the fight happening. A nice wall, however, from Mate already. Artemis dropping low, dropping dead. Anti-nade onto Ollie will not really make his life end, but the rocket from the Diva will, and it is Quicksilver is still not out of this just yet.
Well, do you know what else is on the other side of it? Well, as I said, actually, there you go. POG managed to be taken out. Tiger and the Baby Diva not quite so brutal as some of the ones that we've seen, Val. They were feeling merciful today. The ultimates, though, well, perhaps not quite so, because it is approaching this push. But really, can you hear me? How ready of building up that Nano almost 90% of the way. They can just plonk it straight down onto Ollie, and that will speak for itself when it comes to Overwatch.
Those walls very strong, but the wall from Radlab a bit stronger. A 3-man anti, however, to counter it. It's going to be once again the question whether that will be enough. That's when a Blizzard comes in, did not get eaten, and it will be Eclipse Quasar still holding on to this point. As you mentioned, a very strong jump.
Yep, really strong in. You're seeing Quicksilver really struggling to try to take it. Part of that is the fact that they didn't really have any ultimate to properly try to open things up while they were walking into both a Blizzard and a Nano Boost, and any team is gonna struggle even when you don't have map advantage positioning. But this is really going to be the next fight that they want to do. They're building up a Nano of their own. Radlad is coming towards that Blizzard. Shady is a little bit away from that time drive, so if you're Quicksilver, you can punish the Blizzard's inability to use that ultimate up in time.
You can punish it by throwing the bomb in the back line, but a nice wall to deny the damage from that one. The flashbang, however, from the bombard is going to take a big damage dealer out of the fight. The shatter doesn't find enough. Actually, it does. Radman with 2 here. Sambear getting invested as well, and Eclipse Quasar will still hold on to the point.
It's not enough. Quicksilver are able to get a couple of kills going that way, but they're just pushed up into this post that the team aren't really able to get the full force fight going, and so they trickle in a couple of bodies at a time, and Eclipse Quasar, who have almost their entire team in that one area, are more than capable of just taking them out. And now, really, you're going to see Quicksilver trying to come in, trying to get possession of this pillar, but with 1 minute on the clock now, they've got to find something. They have the Blizzard Kyrios already used. The Science Barrier is going to be once again up to the Diva. I want to see Quicksilver see how much value this Blizzard could have. I want to see them identify the Diva Mag is a threat and take it out before they can.
Already had it in the last round being a threat, but it's not a threat if we just take out the Mei immediately. Ollie going very aggressively, picking up 3 in that fight, and this is another cleanup. 30 seconds on the clock, Mark.
They really are struggling. I said it, this struggle is such a pain to navigate. And well, Quicksilver is just giving us a masterclass in how exactly teams can just come to an absolute standstill. But they have so many ultimates now. This is a fight that they can just come in with all of these circles and try to wash over Eclipse Quasar, but they're gonna have to be quick. It's coming into that overtime. I'm actually seeing Eclipse Quasar thinking about maybe falling back just a little bit, give Quicksilver some room. They have to respect the ultimate as well.
Darkay, however, with the immediate eat of the Blizzard, knew exactly that it's coming in on that target, tried to do whatever he can, but Death Blossom in the backline. Both of the Diva bomb have already been invested, but the Blizzard on the point. It's going to negate any sort of point presence that Quicksilver can give. Overtime is going to start ticking down, but Quicksilver is still racking up kills. Darkay and Kalios, the only ones on the point. Lucius still trying what he can. Darkay on point. It's going to contest for a bit longer. Overtime will start ticking down. Eclipse Quasar is going to have to move back.
Well, if you're Quicksilver, though, you're gonna have to win this next contest fight. Because the Eclipse Quasar, they've been moving back, yes, but they've been grouping up, though. They still have a couple of ultimates. They can try to fight this match, and we can try to get this out.
He's gonna get to contest, and one nice high noon kill onto the undead target. That is major damage taken out. Bombard with a second one. Is looking nice here out of the tree in the backline as Radman is going to be forced to drop a bit back, dropping a fair bit low. They're still trying to be a point, but no one's there.
No one's able to touch. Artemis 2 actually gets frozen up by Me Too mate, and so can do nothing but stare out of this frozen prison as that overtime wick just burns down so rapidly. And Bell, the choke. This really just scuppered that team's chances of managing to get to point B of Dorado.
Quicksilver having some trouble here as Eclipse Quasar is gonna have to do the attack of their own, probably feeling pretty well.
Definitely, but they're gonna have to get through the choke on the opposite side of things, Bell. So once again, this could be where we see that payload just come to an absolute grinding halt. Quicksilver is seeing exactly how far they got held up by it. I do want to see them start to identify exactly how much value this can aid them on the defense and really put all of that first initial defending foothold into keeping control of that choke, because once the other team manages to push that payload past it, you have given up such an advantage on your side.
It's gonna be a major advantage, and Eclipse Quasar even teasing a Widowmaker?
Well, it's the attacking side, Val, so they can still switch things up. So do take everything with just a little grain of salt. There you go. You're seeing it come in now. But the pharmacy that we're seeing getting a little bit of a tease right now, that is more than likely going to be coming out of those gates because you have such a large amount of time to push that payload that you can really just try to experiment, go into something that Quicksilver might perhaps not be expecting. And Pharmacy, if you can land those concussive blasts, can just take away all of the high ground potential for Quicksilver with just that one ability.
Take a lot of space here. Nice crossfire as well. Getting high ground, getting low ground. Evolution already dropping down. Now away from his team. He's gonna get him back in time as the drop comes in. Quicksilver already there. Artemis down. POG activated, dropping low. Nova's not gonna stay in mech, so we have Amina Diva on the side with already 2 picks. Eclipse Quasar is looking huge, Mox.
I love the fact that they went through as well. They just dropped down, moved towards the choke, and made sure that Quicksilver weren't able. It was free real estate. They didn't have to worry about navigating it.
Artemis comes back in for the stagger. It's gonna get staggered out. The payload's moving. Is anybody even gonna be able to get back to point?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like, well, there's a tracer there. They will not get it. So comes the barrage and down the tracer goes.
Ow, that barrage just put the nail in the coffin. That has gotta hurt.
What hurts for me personally is watching Quicksilver just give up that choke. They just handed it over almost on a silver platter to Eclipse Quasar. Because I was looking as the team came in and I was kind of willing Quicksilver to go for that drop down to try and take the choke, but they dropped down on the wrong side. They dropped down in front of the choke belt, not behind it, and only really half of the team go. And by then, you actually already see that Ollie had already taken up residence underneath the bridge, and so when the half the team do drop down, he's able to get the pin to connect, and then Quicksilver, that force is just a little bit too spread out. And by that point, Eclipse Quasar are already rolling the payload into the first beginnings of the choke, and then they blink and it's just gone. Then they blink again and it's map over.
I mean, if you drop into the enemy team, in the middle of the enemy team, you're gonna have a bad time. And Quicksilver had a bad time.
I think that is probably one of the understatements that this season 4.5 is going to be seeing. It's a painful one because after putting so much into the choke, we saw Eclipse Quasar really just trying to hold on. Even if they lost a couple of people on their own defense, they just kept standing in that choke, adamantly not allowing Quicksilver to pass. It is one of those places where you can just punish teams time and time and time again without worrying about who has the advantage in ultimate economy, without worrying whether maybe you've lost someone early in the fight, because you have map advantage, you have all of that defensive positioning because, well, the architecture just decrees it so.
That's very much the case, and now with 2 points on the board for Eclipse Quasar, they're looking at potentially their final map, and how it's been going so far, it's looking rough for Quicksilver.
There are a couple of things that this team can start doing that I think really will increase their chances. One of those, taking advantage of the chokes, taking advantage of those opportunities that the map developers have allowed. Another one is that they need to start knuckling down on targets. Because so many times I've seen Eclipse Quasar, they've gone for some really strange, weird rotations, but they've paid off in the long haul. Whether it's been taking up residence in that choke early, whether it's been sending one of their DPS and a diva along to just badger Quicksilver's back line, occupy the support while the front line just collapses in on the remaining forces, managing to flip things their way. Eclipse Quasar have been doing it time and time again. Every single fight that I've looked at, these guys have been coming with something very strange, very weird, and very fun to analyze. Quicksilver, on the other hand, they feel very much like they're just stuck doing what teams think they should be doing at the moment. As in, okay, we've got the high ground. High ground is always good in Overwatch. Maybe we should go for a drop down. Maybe we should try to keep advantage of this choke, and then it's too late. Likewise, okay, we've got some ultimates. They're pretty strong ultimates. Maybe we should put them in, but maybe we should keep a hold of them until we feel like they'll be finding a stronger impact. And that really is what's been keeping this team down.
Like, it feels in the sense that as you're mentioning, Quicksilver knows what they should be doing, but the consistency to do it doesn't really feel there, unfortunately. Though they can bring it back in the next map, which is going to be an assault map, Temple of Anubis, where Eclipse Quasar is going to be defending first, probably looking to get a full hold on A.
Well, after their showing on Dorado, you can absolutely imagine this happening. So Quicksilver, they're going to be coming into this. They're going to know that if they lose this map, they are going to lose this series, and that is going to start chipping away at their mentality bell. They cannot afford to slip into that, okay, we've already lost. No, they can get this reverse sweep going. Anubis, yes, can be quite a pain to get hold of because at certain points it is very much defenders favored. Normally on these types of maps, you have that sort of balance where the first point feels like it's a little bit in favor of the attackers, the second point always feels like it's very much in favor of the defense. Unfortunately for this team, Anubis has pros and cons to both sides. Yes, point B is very much in favor of the defenders, that spawn being so much closer. Unfortunately, though, and tragically for Quicksilver, getting to point A on Anubis is the real challenge. There are 3 approaches that you can go for. You can go down the middle, straight down main, you can go left, or you can go right. Either of those options can lead to death because either of them can just allow Maze or Junkrats to get so much punishment in. The walls that can come down, the Junkrat spam that can come through, Moira robes that can be bounced around those walls. It really is a pain. But once you establish yourself on point, that's when you really do start to see that tick percentage just shooting up.
Well, definitely. And we've mentioned this before, attacker side tends to be a bit of a bait or some sneaky picks, but the Symmetra could work.
Are you crossing your fingers and hoping that we see this one?
I mean, it could genuinely work and catch Eclipse Quasar off guard.
It could, but here's the thing. The place that Eclipse Quasar are set up, it currently won't be able to catch them off guard. Because they're not really set up in that middle ground. Well, there we go, they're moving to it now. But they are being quite stubborn in being a mobile composition. They've got the Lucio, so even if the sniper is going to be sticking, and it is, they can just speed boost to where the teleporter comes from.
It can, but the teleporter already on point. So now it's Eclipse Quasar turned around a bit on the back foot. 1 tick, not giving up. Yeah, but Bombard with an early pickoff. That is already a huge one. The second one coming on through from Ollie as Eclipse Quasar is just going ham here on this Symmetra strategy.
So the Symmetra strategy either works insanely well or just leads to a very quick team kill, and we're going to be seeing an equally as quick swap. Undead Target is going to be going onto the Widowmaker, trying to occupy that high ground ledge to allow Quicksilver a little bit of leeway to get to that point approach. However, you're going to have to get up there, and with those boosters on that Diva far shorter on the cooldown than that Widow Grapple, just hitting 12 seconds in comparison to Music 3, it's going to be extremely hard for Undead Target to stay alive with that mobility.
It's going to be extremely hard, and with that anti-nade once again just being so difficult to deal with, is going to allow for Orly to go once more aggressive. Asleep on Belgian Bonky is going to make him not long for this world, as Eclipse Quasar is just bullying them out.
I mean, you're seeing Quicksilver, they're having to put this Batiste in because they worry that the anti-nade is just going to come straight onto their back and they're going to lose people off that. In fact, that Immortality Field is coming out so early in the fight with the 25-second cooldown now, you really can punish it. But speaking of punishment, Undead Target is able to get an opening pick onto Eclipse Quasar's May, so this is the go time for the team.
Looking for more as the Nano comes in to Ollie, is gonna find some value already. May not allowed to just stay alive as the Diva is already out of mech. You can't really get any more value than that. You don't need more value than that, as Eclipse Quasar is just gonna casually pull back.
Yeah, and now really, if you're Quicksilver, you're trying to build up these ultimates well because you've got 1 minute 52 on the clock. You need to start coming in with something that's really going to open things up, and that is absolutely going to be the Blizzard. However, you have nothing when it comes to cleanup, so you have to use it when you're actually around the team if you want to start finding value with it. And well, Eclipse Quasar, they're going to be more than happy for that to happen because there goes the paywall, and that is the team's working hard.
Oh, they don't manage to follow on through of it. So the Ana does manage to stay alive, which is actually pretty used as Artemis just get stunned and burnt down. Be forced to pull back ever so slightly. She got a bit of a poke war going on here on the side. high nuke from the back line. Shield now gone as the bomb comes on through together with the Shatter. Darky with 2 more. That is 1 more quick cleanup as Quasar just forces their way into the defense.
And Under Target is going to be swapping to the McCree so they can try and get some other pressure onto Ollie, who is just going ham with this Reinhardt and Val. Look away. The Baby Diva, POG finally put out of their misery, but burning more time off. And with 40 seconds left in the bank, that is time that Quicksilver desperately need. They have so many ultimates, but likewise so do Eclipse Quasar. And they've got ultimates that can just nullify the enemies. Both of these losers are in possession of the Fine Bearers. So really, you need to start baiting those out before you try and commit Blizzard. But Quicksilver, they might just have to Blizzard immediately. They don't have enough time to wait.
We don't, and will Darky be able to play Hungry Apples? Well, that is a Blizzard coming in from Me Too Mate, but now we've got that faint POG pulling it back. Darky now on the back foot as he's alone on the point. Denies anti-nade, however, finds 3. Will that be enough to pull it back? Darky slapped Kadios in the backline, finds the Ana, and Nano Reinhardt is going to pump out for so much damage, and no, finally Quicksilver will grab hold of the point.
And we're actually going to see Under Target try and just swap to that Sombra to get a little bit to the point faster. Gonna be going for a little bit of Scout onto B, so seems as if they actually do want to run with this. Either that or it's just a little bit of Scout out to see what Eclipse Quasar are running, but I'm a fan of this. Sombra is something that we don't get to see currently in Overwatch, but EMP is such a heavy hitting ultimate that you really can't try and snowball points off that one ultimate. And with Eclipse Quasar only being possession of the Nano at the moment, well, Quicksilver, you can't forgive them for trying this next approach.
Not as a nice anti onto Can You Hear Me, but no real follow-up. The counter anti as well, quite nice, just putting Quicksilver back to hide out ever so slightly to start pushing in as we to get everyone in. Sleep onto Artemis is going to be denied pretty quickly. The anti comes onto Ollie with the Nano as well. He's going to be forced back, so that is a bit of a waste of just value there. Well, it's not really gonna do that much here. Quicksilver is still on the back foot. Artemis antied, dropping a bit low, hiding out well. The positioning is good from these teams, Moxie.
Well, do you know what else is good? Under Target is just being an absolute nuisance in the Eclipse Quasar's sides at that moment. 80% of that EMP is away from before they engage.
The counter shatter is making sure that Under Target doesn't need to do that much to bomb. Finds POG's mech at the moment. Have a bit of a trade going on. Ollie trying to stay alive as the peel comes on through. Belgian Bonky on the point. The May is now in the middle of it. He's gonna try to stay alive. Barely any health left. No health left. The Deltron comes to the back line with Darky. A third Blizzard 8 here. The huge plays from the Diva of Eclipse Quasar. And it looks like this will be enough to hold to the point.
He was too late. They should have put it in when that when Radlad wanted the Blizzard to take away Darky's ability to have that defense matrix up, but unfortunately the communication, either it's just a miscommunication or the idea wasn't there in the first place. And unfortunately that was everything that Quicksilver was really building up to Bell. With 1 minute on the clock, they put in all of the ultimates that they really wanted to try to get that point. And it's gone. They're not going to have them back. Under Target will not be able to build up this EMP unless he goes absolutely ham. And Eclipse Quasar, they're not going to allow the Sombra the opportunity. They've got so many tools in their pocket that they can just put them in when Quicksilver can call them.
And now Under Target is already gone again. Sam Barrer in the background, but the sleep onto Ollie, it's enough to blow him up. That's 2 picks. The high move from the side will find a trade. It is defense favored here, so we're gonna see some stackers coming in. A Nano onto the Reinhardt from Quicksilver. As they're now trying to hold on to it. 15 seconds left. The staggers coming on through. A shatter to just confirm that killer, but need 2 mate now with a pick. Bombard as well. Can Eclipse Quasar pull this back? Radlad on the high ground. No, it is the Blizzard denied entirely. Under Target is trying to do whatever he can. The shatter doesn't really find that much, but the Nano onto the Hammond will make it difficult to do much. One tick has been grabbed. Deltatron, the next drop. The EMP comes in. D.Va coming back. It's good staggered from the attacker side. It doesn't look like it will be enough. No, Eclipse Quasar will hold on to the point.
Yeah, Radlad is still off that Tracer though, trying to just keep it going. But that will be all she wrote for Quicksilver on their attack. And Bell, how many times the Sake just absolutely harpooned his team's chances of getting that 6% going in that way.
It's Dark A is hungry. It's the one thing that usually gets said about divas. I'm fully aware, but Dark A is very hungry. 3 Blizzard Eats in one match, like it's actually insane.
Yeah,
It is so good.
This is why you need to pressure down the divas, because for Mei players there is an art to putting the Blizzard in, but on the equally there is a dance that diva players go through in their heads because they know the tactics that Mei players use. They know that normally Mei's want to have like that wall come in first so they can try and get that Blizzard in without worrying about it being interrupted. So now we're seeing if divas believe Mei's to have that Blizzard online and they see a wall come through, they'll boost towards the wall, risk the CC, but have the defense matrix up so they can just eat the ultimate before it can hit the floor. There is so much outplay potential going on in the minds of those two picks, and it really does it makes me smile, because this is what Overwatch is meant to be about. It's not supposed to be just that slugfest and who's gonna come to an ultimate first. No, it's meant to be who can outthink the enemy, who will find value by using their abilities in the best possible ways. And you want to talk about best possible ways, this defense that we're seeing coming out from Quicksilver, they are going to be utilizing these corridors to their absolute fullest. Radlad gonna be on the Junkrat, just spamming in all of the damage. Eclipse Quasar, Darky might just have to use all of the defense matrixes just to allow his teams to move into the middle room.
Well, it's gonna be the wall to allow them to move into the side room at the very least. As we've got this slugfest going on in this side room. Junkrat very much a problem to deal with, so to say, as Ollie already gets trapped here, but the wall is denying Artemis any space to get back to his team. Wall's gonna drop down, but not before Artemis is gonna get taken out. Radlad as well gone. Now 2 major players gone for Quicksilver, and Eclipse Quasar rolling on through and picking up point A pretty soon.
Yeah, if you're Quicksilver, you need to acknowledge that you've lost this fight. Yes, it's gonna be painful, but you need to regroup. You cannot stagger in. That's exactly what they're gonna be doing. They're just gonna be waiting around point B. They acknowledge that they've lost it. They're not gonna provide Eclipse Quasar any more chance to charge up their ultimates, but all the damage might already be done. Can you hear me? Has a nano. Ollie is 20% to that shatter. If it goes on to that Ryan spike and he just charges it and starts swinging his hammer, he is going to get it up in time. Lickety split, and Artemis is not going to have that counter shatter up and available.
It's gonna be forced to try and block it, so will we see the right outplays? That is the major player here as Ollie comes in with the nano. Getting that shatter up now. Will be coming in. Well, not anytime soon as he is trapped. Now can you hear me already? Down, bomb in the backline. Shattered there with the bomb. Doesn't really manage to find it that much, unfortunately, with the bomb. The tire, though, is gonna be a trade as a pivot comes in on the point. Reflex for Quasar. They're still looking to just finish this out. Radlad, one of the last to come on through, and now Deltaron on the Zenyatta is not going to make it to point. Eclipse Quasar 3-0 takes the victory of the very first match of Get Good season 4.5.
I mean, I think the sentence that best describes that match was just quantity over quality, Bell. Eclipse Quasar, they built up so much things going their favor in their first attack, and they didn't have to use them. That was key. They didn't really have to put in any ultimates to just get A immediately, which meant that when they come in for that approach from B, they just have to wait just a little bit, buy themselves just the right amount of time, and well, a nano onto your Rhine, that's always gonna dissuade an enemy team from properly approaching, and by then they've built up a bomb, they've built up a blizzard, they've built up a Deadeye that they can put in with said blizzard, and unfortunately Quicksilver, well, yes, their respawns are that much closer, their deaths are that much sooner.
Yeah, that was a very difficult fight for Quicksilver to win, and unfortunately, they didn't manage to get on through. It was the coordination target calls. It seemed to be indeed too difficult. So yeah, Eclipse Quasar with the victory, Mox.
Short one, a very short one, Belle. But nevertheless, we got to see a couple of things on Overwatch and really traditional Overwatch. We got to see Sombra for, I believe, the first time since I've got to cast in January, which is a joy to myself. I personally love to see the Sombra coming out. We got to see Junkrat on Anubis, and well, that does make me feel a little bit nostalgic for Overwatch League Season 1. And we got to see divas just eating blizzards and denying all of the hopes and dreams of the May mains, if Mays even do have hopes and dreams, whether or not they sold their soul to the devil. Does that allow them to keep dreams and hopes? Well, I don't know on that one.
Eh, I don't know the economics of that question. I'm not much of an economist. Um, that being said, though, Eclipse Quasar with the victory of the very first Get Good Season 4.5 match versus Quicksilver. That is streamed right here. We're going to throw to a bit of a break to set up for the next set of matches. It is going to be, I've got information somewhere. Mox, do you know?
You
Got
throw to me
information?
every time
Yeah,
because you know that the
because
post.
I panic.
I know you panic. Let's see. It looks like it is going to be, and I am so sorry if I butcher all of these pronunciations. We're
Should
gonna
be
have
fine.
Carbon versus Brainstorm, so don't go anywhere, folks.
Don't go anywhere, indeed.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just what we're doing.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Oh, no! Kill!
Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game. So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Kill.
Let's go.
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
Magzan. I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game. So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Kill.
Let's go.
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome once again to GitGud EU Season 4.5. We're here on this Valentine's Day. We see these teams profess their love for each other through good comms, teamwork, and combos. Sure, let's say that. I will be your play-by-play caster, BellyOW. With me is the ever-wonderful Moxie. Hi, Moxie.
You put such a positive spin on it, Val.
I
If it was
know.
me, it would be 12 people hacking each other to death. And
I already
see
did
you.
that.
I know. But really, is it properly a game this Valentine's if people don't die in horribly horrific ways? I think not.
It's yeah, it's I mean, that's what love is all about, isn't it? Let's say yes. We've got a great game after we've already had one between yeah, we've had the previous game in the intermediate division. Now moving on to the rookie division. So keeping in mind this is the platinum division where we will have the team Carbon versus team Brainstorm. So yeah.
I mean,
Should be a
this
nice
this
one.
is gonna be a fun one because every rank I find has its own established meta where people know what they can get away with and where people know sometimes the boat is being pushed just a little bit too far. And well, the rookie division, all sorts can happen, Belle. I've seen back shatters, I've seen Reapers somehow not being spotted out. Heck, I've even seen Anna's just wait around corners to lob an anti-nade into an entire team who have no idea she's there. So really, anything can happen, and well, we get to just commentate on the chaos.
We can absolutely commentate on the chaos, and I mean, in the platinum division, in the rookie division, you do get these things where you get the diva outplays and the diva eats are absolutely not impossible, but they'll be less likely. So you'll see maybe that make getting a bit more value. These are still pre-made teams. These are not solo signups, so there is going to be like team play. These people know each other. There's communication. There's possibly some coaching. I don't know whether they've got a coach or they're just playing for their own. That being said, it's going to be Oasis first for these teams to prove themselves.
This is a fun one. We've actually got to see it already today. Got to see the importance of high ground control as well. Well, less so on this submap of it, but still pretty important, especially that one ledge just hanging over the point, sitting up there. If you've got a Winston, the cleave damage coming through is absolutely insane, and your ultimate will charge accordingly.
It will, and yeah, Oasis once again one of those maps with three very different maps.
You can run quite a lot of things on the two open maps that you don't see run all that often on University. The Pharmacy being the one thing that immediately springs to mind. However, both of these teams looking like they're opting out of that battle. Instead, they're going to be sticking with what we know works. Glad they're going to be picking up that Mei. On the other side, though, Belle, here's something extremely interesting, and I think this is the first time I've actually seen a team not supplying a Mei in their lineup since, well, I don't know how long. It's gonna be Kel'Thuzad sitting on that Reaper with Jay Martin. Gonna be trying to go for the McCree.
And on the other side, a Ryan Zarya combination. So already some interesting choices all around, as both of these teams are going for a wide rotation on completely different sides of the map. This is now where the fight is gonna explode, and it's them who's gonna be the first to drop here. No main healer, that is so big. Back at the next, it's gonna be a nice and quick charge coming in, and that is gonna be a quick team fight from Carbon.
Yeah, Brainstorm just cannot get a word in edgeways, well, and a huge reason of that is Plata sitting on that mage, just pouring in that stream of CC, not allowing that team to group up and really probably try to get that aggression going. But you're going to be seeing Carbon just trying to build those ultimates up, and they will be building them up much faster than their counterparts. But Brainstorm, they're going to be running with this composition. They haven't really been able to get the chance to properly fight, and with Modern going down again, it doesn't look like it was just one.
That is not going to be a big fight. Indeed, Hearts is going to get anti, but a nice attacking field keeping everyone alive. They do lose Plata in the fight. Harsh a bit too forward. It's going to get punished for it, but now just pulling back, and they're going to be able to regroup.
Well, they're just trying to build time. You can see they're actually just pulling back to that point, waiting for Plata to come back into the front. So close that Blizzard Batcher actually has that amplification matrix just about to go, so you may well just see them pop it to try to keep Brainstorm away from the point before the mace can come through.
Well, now the Ryan coming in with the Shatter. Only finds Plata on the floor. No real follow-up just yet. Hearts goes straight in with the charge, but it's gonna be Baka with the Nano Ryan going into the back line, getting all of the kills. Hearts is not gonna be able to just solo a full enemy team, enemy backline, and Watch Man will be the last one.
But here's the thing, if you're Brainstorm, you're trying to hold on to a point and you're coming up against so many things that can just instantly wipe you off the face of this map. You've got to deal with the grab, you've got to deal with Amplification Matrix, with Blizzard. Carbon, they're in such a nice place when it comes to ultimates at the moment. Yes, Amlagunen has got the Silent Barrier online just now, but they have one ultimate. They're not running the Batiste, they're not running Immortality Field.
Very much not, as Hearts is now here forward, getting a lot of support from his team. Back and going very forward, a lot of health already lost. He's going to force out that sand barrier. Now the Death Roster comes in to follow it up, finds 4, Baby K with 5 kills, cleaning up quickly. Ruby will not be staggered out.
Oh, it's a really nice play coming from the side of Carbon. They identified that Ruby has just been playing just a little bit too far on the sidelines to the team, so when the grab comes through, the D.Va just is not in place to get the defense matrix going to deny BBK. And you see it, the kill just comes sliding on in for Carbon. 67% on board. His ultimate controlling possession of Belt. Well, it's going to be a tough time for Brainstorm to get that flip going anytime soon.
It's going to be even tougher with Baka out of the fight. No shield available. Just have the Shatter. Will they be looking to use it? No, they're being very careful with what they're pushing in, as they are going to be pulling back and just biding their time.
Biding time is the least thing that Brainstorm wants to be doing, though, because it's taking towards that last fight, and Plata still hasn't put in that Blizzard.
Have not, as we've got a bit of a rotation going on, but they're already on the back foot. I've lost a few, and huge Shatter down Kel'Thuzad now, however, coming in the back line, picks up 2, picks up a 3rd. Will that be enough? No, they get picked off. It's going to be overtime taken down. Tracy's not going to be long for the world. A fire strike denying that space entirely. The bomb is
that baby is gone, and that will be Carbon picking up that first sub-rank. But what we saw in the last dregs of the moment really does tell me the story of Brainstorm. They can fight. They can have this communication, because we saw Kel'Thuzad getting a crazy amount of damage with that Death Blossom off the back of his Reinhardt Shatter. So they do have the puzzle pieces. They just need to be able to unjumble them from the box long enough to fit them together, because Carbon, they've just been coming in with this Meg, coming straight into the front line and just throwing that team into so much confusion. No one is really able to peel. Ruby is playing just a little bit too far away from the team, not able to help out the supports, not even able to help out the main tank. And we're seeing Carbon, they're just using that advantage, using that opportunity to just absolutely dismantle this team.
and dismantle they are doing. Carbon opting for a similar approach. Brainstorm also not really changing up much, though this time grabbing May of their own, but Baka just completely zoned out. The charge doesn't manage to get through, but it doesn't matter. They pick up the kill, and that's going to allow them to go really aggressive into this next fight. He's trying to get into the backline. He's going to be forced out of mech for it. And Harsh is taking the lead for a ride. Carbon once again with the advantage.
Plata has been coming up absolutely huge on these Maywolves. Actually puts one down after Brainstorm has lost him in tank, denying the team entirely the retreat, which allows Carbon to just get the kills flooding their way. And look at the ultimate charge round. This team, they've already almost got a grab, and the point hasn't even hit 10%. That is absolutely insane value that one Pushman has been finding, because if you see, Ruby is actually sitting on that D.Va, and the D.Va Zarya matchup, it's a funny one. D.Va can deny your ultimate entirely, Zarya can deny your mech entirely.
Very much can. Trying to get a bit of a back damage in. Baka now on the side, the Blizzard already invested, but Baka is not going to live along any more. Killed this out, and just not really with his team, so we still have a bit of just backflowing and coming in, but no news is going to make it.
Well, if you're Brainstorm, you need to start grouping up. You need to start coming in, not really fragmented, and well, that is them just flat out. Goes too far, just a little bit too aggressive, and that's going to be the team waiting even longer now, Belle. This is the absolute last thing that team wanted to be seeing. In fact, it was the last thing they needed to happen, because Carbon, well, they didn't even need to put ultimates in to get that fight win going. And they've been sitting on this grab. It's going to be all up to Ruby. Damn, it's 5% away from that sign bar. It might not be enough.
It might not be enough indeed, as Baka gets taken out once again. The wall just giving so much space to Shadow with 4 on the floor, and Carbon dominant on this map.
And Belle, they put in one ultimate. They put in one ultimate to win that fight. Look at the amount. These guys
so
have
clean.
banked up for the final fight territory. They've got 5. Brainstorm, they're gonna have a Shatter, they're gonna have the Soundbar, they're probably gonna get a Blizzard Online too, but it's gonna be so much. And Carbon, they didn't win this last fight.
They're just denying it. The grab. 2%. Someone has to make it to point. No, but doesn't. Baka is barely off the point. Carbon get the victory for Oasis to start off this series in the rookie division. A very good map.
Here's the absolute worst thing for Brainstorm to be left thinking on. The D.Va got to eat. Ruby got to eat onto one Pushman's grab in literally the last seconds. And they still weren't able to do enough. It wasn't enough because they weren't able to get put. And look, that was how far Ruby was playing away from the team. That was the reason why that Death Blossom was able to find the insane amount of value. Yes, D.Va is so strong in the meta, but she is only as strong as the team allows her to be. You have to be there in the thick and thin for when the damage comes through, otherwise Defense Matrix is going to do jack all.
Yeah, you really have to get those good team plays together, and Carbon, as I said, looking very dominant so far, very cohesive, very together. And yeah, Brainstorm is gonna be sweating a bit.
Well, it was the first map though, so it could be that just this team are a little bit nervous, and I think coming out of Oasis, I hope that they're coming away with this lesson just drilled into their skulls. If you start losing the team fight, if those early picks start going the way of the enemy side, get out. And get out as a team. Don't just trickle in one by one as a sort of discount Nova's Ark, because it won't work. It's just gonna fragment yourself, fragment your forces, and allow Carbon to just keep getting those fights going in their favor, because they don't even need to put ultimates in if they just win by numbers advantage.
It is a very big play that they're doing, very good team play. And I mean, you gotta mention the May. Those walls were devastating from the side of Carbon, just zoning off that Reinhardt, getting the kill on. Like, that was some beautiful team play.
Well, yeah, Plata is being an absolute monster when it comes to divide and conquer at the moment. And Carbon, they're showing that they're more than capable of just busting out the cleanup squad and mopping up Brainstorm's, well, brain matter off the tiles. Platter is just being so strong with those Mei walls, and you saw Brainstorm, they actually tried to put that counter Mei in because the best Mei counter at the moment is to run a Mei of your own to try to get that wall coming in first before the other Mei can really get it going at an angle where it separates someone, but the counterplay just wasn't quite there.
The counterplay very much wasn't quite there. One thing to keep in mind, going towards the next map, we're not going into it just yet. It's going to be an escort map. You already know it's going to be Rialto, but we've got a sub coming in. This was Raccoon coming in, TZ Rolls going out.
So, very interesting thing about this, because we do have a little bit of information about teams and what hero they most play for it. And Raccoon Paws, she says, is the Mercy player of the team. So when you see a Mercy support being subbed into Rialto, well, I think every console player is going to be whimpering and clutching their PlayStations in horror, because we might just be about to see the bane of every console player's existence, that is Pharmacy being busted out of those spawn doors in this next map.
Yeah, it is the most likely eventuality. And it is probably the plan for Carbon to bust out that Pharmacy. But on the other side, Brainstorm, would they be aware? There is like a kind of a hint with the player icon that maybe gives it away. But you've already got a sub, you've got Rialto, those are plans that you can have. Will Brainstorm be aware of this, and will they be dealing with this appropriately, as they will be defending first? If you don't have the right pick.
Here's the thing, the traditional Pharmacy counter, well, one of them at least, being the McCree, you do see him running an awful lot in compositions now that you didn't tend to see previously. A lot of value being put onto him currently with that flashbang, with not really the Deadeye picking up the kills, but still being the importance of zoning teams out, buying yourself just a little bit of time, even busting the D.Va out of the mech early so that the heavier hitting impacts can come on through without having to worry about defense matrix being up. There is a very real possibility that they'll just come straight out of the gate with the McCree, but, and here's the kicker, McCree, he likes to have the high ground, and with Rialto not really being the most mobile of heroes, he would be relegated to taking the stairs if he wants to take.
It is very much a thing, so as we expect, we're already seeing a Pharmacy.
Yeah, and on the defending side, we are already seeing Martin gonna be onto that McCree. It's a good thing too, because Kel'Thuzad's still gonna be on that Reaper. If they hadn't put the McCree in the equation, well, Plato would be running a little bit free, not having to worry about anyone who could really take him down other than the gun, gonna be going onto the Batiste. So while he's been hit with just a little bit of a change when it comes to healing output, Immortality Field, still such a strong ability, Bell, still such an ability that can just immediately deny any ultimate's value if not focused down fast enough. But with that 25-second cooldown now coming into play, very much punishable.
It is very punishable. We've killed a new Widow with the longer charge coming in. We've got the Pharmacy to the side. We've got Narissa Hog to be the tank duo for the side of Carbon. Seems like they've got a very clear plan what they want to come on doing. The hold hook combos coming in once again. When on the low ground, it's a bit of a question there. So we have the Fire just kind of pumping in damage from above. It is still a bit of a slow fight, Moxie, as we see the team starting to push in.
Well, there you go. BVK does occupy that high ground ledge, tries to get a couple of shots going their way, but Platter will pick up first blood.
We'll pick up first blood, and that's going to be the opening for Carbon to start pushing in, but Payload's still not moving. They need a bit more aggression as the JJE Martin dropping low, dropping dead. A nice headshot, but the book from them is going to deny the Roadhog. Now, however, you've got barely anything left. Will be very low. Zafara is pumping in damage from above. That is finally the first choke broken through.
Carbon have got this really lovely crossfire going where Platter is just up in the air being a nuisance, and BVK is just on the high ground ready to put bullets into the skull of anyone who just goes away from back his shield. Lovely play from this team, and Brainstorm, they're going to immediately switch to accommodate this. Ruby going to be going onto that D.Va, going to be trying to test it out either the Widow or the Pharah, one or the other needs to go.
gonna have a bit of trouble pestering out anything. Already dropping low, and then the barrage straight in the back line. A nice anti to follow it up. Lada's gonna get taken out of forehead as Farah is wont to do, but it is not enough. Carbon will grab point A.
But here's the thing, Brainstorm are coming into a couple of ultimates of their own, Bell, and the Gunnan is gonna have this amplification matrix, and yes, it can be devastating in the right hands, but Prasha is not gonna let that bitch rest. They're just hounding down those picks, so they want to stagger out Brainstorm and get so much free real estate on the payload without even having to worry about a next proper team fight.
They're already at the second corner, though Brainstorm going for the high ground. A nice round to take here. However, your runner is not going to get that much value for it. Looking to go into the back line to get that shatter in. That is where it comes in. Finds the support. That is one pick. You've already got down, planted the next drop. You do manage to get a trade, however. So that can be huge to turn it around. You're gonna need to get the good picks in. A hook on the Diva. It's not enough. Brainstorm is gonna be pushing on through and then be holding this one.
This is where the real difficulty for the farmers comes into play, Val, because Platter is going to have to cross this bridge, and there is nowhere to hide. Martin is going to have the perfect line to slide onto that DPS, and so he is going to have to play like an absolute star if he doesn't want to be taken out of the fight before that barrage on the bridge.
Oh, we hear an amplification matrix here on the low ground. It's just on the floor, and it doesn't seem to do enough as BBK just gets the pick up onto his mirror pick. Now the Pharaoh with some nice free reign here. He's going to be able to pump out some more damage as they're looking to do in the backline. That is the barrage once again. 3 picks, 4 picks, a mech, and just clean up the baby Diva as he last.
It's an absolute horror story. Platter just rounds the back, drops down from below, doesn't even need to worry about boosting in, takes the stairs, and just picks up Brainstorm, who was caught a little bit unawares without watching their back. A little bit risky, and they do get punished for that one. And now the payload is rolling on through. Hart is just going to plunk down the supercharge, dissuade this contestant highly.
Dissuade the do, Vaca getting taken down. JD Martin tries with his high noon. Manages to get the farmer as he had in the sky, but Jabok lost the point. Now the payload will keep on moving forward.
Well, Kalfazad does have the saving grace of Brainstorm, though. He has the staff loss, and Dem has that nano to give it just a little bit of extra but they're losing people. They need to initiate with it. They're running away. They're giving up too much ground. And pretty soon they're gonna run out of ground to give.
This Alto combo is still proven to be a very valuable combo. Nicely on tobacco, but get woken up. Immediately the Shatter is gonna find a fair bit of value, but the nano on the Orisa is gonna keep her alive. Plata with a nice pick in the backline. Now the Death Blossom, however, will that be enough? A Harsh gets taken out. A bomb gets invested as well. There's so much value that you're getting from this. As now the picks are gonna come on through. Brainstorm will hold on to this choke.
And they can continuously hold on to the choke. But this is one of those points of reality where that payload can just stop. And stop entirely. If Carbon want to get control of this, they are going to have to really commit some ultimates. BVK does have this Deadeye, but Ruby is still in that next defense matrix. It's all away. They wanted to find value. They do have Plata to have that barrage, so you could Deadeye, fade out the defense matrix, and then Plata goes in with the thing that they want to do.
Plata is already in the backline, looking to get something done. It's gonna get JG Martin out. No flashbang available anymore. It's gonna be so huge. They're gonna be pushed out ever so slightly. It's gonna look for another side angle here. Once again, trying to just sneak above. Going behind the barrage is gonna come in again. One pick already, Immertazi field down. And once again, the barrage just gets so much done.
Carbon are actually monsters when it comes to combining ultimates. BVK puts in the Deadeye to bait out that immortality field from the side of Brainstorm, and then Plata comes in, knowing it's on the map, he can be hit with the rocket. Brainstorm have to get the speed test going. They do have the ultimate. They're the only ones in control of ultimates at the moment, but they need to get kills coming down there.
So far, the high noon, however, once again, the 5 Mercy combo out of the sky. That's already big. Supercharger is on the floor, but so is Harsh as the trades are going to come on through. BBK is still alive at the point. They're not going to be for much longer, and the cleanup will be there.
BBK gets out. then McCree, one of the least mobile DPS heroes, manages to make it out and back to his team without being picked off. Well, and I think that's where you start to see a little bit of the problems that Brainstorm are having. They're just not really able to knuckle down sometimes and confirm those kills. They get them close enough. But close enough in Overwatch does not always mean that it's enough to find value. And yes, Brainstorm, they are going to be shagged up a little bit in this alleyway, try to keep the architecture as defense, but no, BVK must find a piece, and that's going to be Ghost to Carbon, who is coming up with some really, really key ultimates.
Gonna be some very key ultimates, but now the barrage, the Death Blossom in the back line taking out the Farah of all players. They do manage to get the res off, so Farah is once again alive. Car's just gonna get traded for it. Got once again trades. It looks like Carbon is still trying to push on this. Look, they're gonna be pulling back. Kel'Thuzad's gonna get hooked, but the Wraith form is gonna keep him alive. The Nano, however, is gonna get invested to keep the Reaper going.
A bit of a miscommunication perhaps, because the Reaper does Reform out, then gets Nano, then has to go back in. But it works out for Brainstorm in the end, and Carbon will be backtracking just a little bit. They do have the Sparrows and BVK again with this Deadeye. We've seen it comboed once, we could easily see it comboed again to bait out this and party build the second time.
Oh, that is not what you want to see. Baka charged. Nowhere with his team to defend him. He's gonna keep punished for that one. As now the main tank is gone. Plata with a nice pick up to Kel'Thuzad. A second one. Hybrid in the backline. He's gonna take out the Farah. So that one's now out of the equation. But that's not looking like it's enough. The res comes on through. We only have Baka on the Reinhardt. He's gonna get hooked, gonna get killed. And that will be a full push.
Okay, but Brainstorm, they managed to slow that payload down. And it really was a different team that we got to see entirely on C than it was that we got to see in the starting stages of A and for the entirety of B. They really, they start seeing what's going to happen. They start seeing that, okay, the pharmacy has been a little bit of a problem, and we do see that Plata, the value that they find, the picks that they find, they start slowing down, not to a halt, but to a gentle trot when it comes to exactly how much they're active in the kill feed. And honestly, I think that this team, they're going to benefit the most when it's the attack. Because they seem to be a very aggressive team, sometimes a little bit too aggressive. Sometimes they do get caught out just a little bit on that one and lose someone when they go just a little bit too far. But if there's ever a place to be too aggressive, it's when you're attacking yourselves.
It is when you are attacking yourselves, and Rialto Point C notoriously difficult to full cap. So that is also one thing to keep in mind.
So Carbon did a very admirable job managing to push the payload that entire way, even if they burned off almost all of their clock, indeed all of their clock, in doing so. So what we'll be seeing from the defense looks pretty similar to the exact same that Carbon launched on the offense. Sparta gonna be back onto that Farah, BVK on the Widow. They really do want to establish this crossfire. And if you look ahead, Kel'Thuzad sitting on this Tracer on the other side. Yes, you are gonna have a little bit of harassment going on to Barcher, but you also take out of the equation a possible counter to BVK. And so Martin is going to be working double time to keep up with the 2 DPS from Carbon.
It's going to be quite a bit of trouble for Martin to really get a lot of value, as the boom already finds both support. That is just going to open it wide up as the Hulk comes on through. Baka dropping low, dropping dead. Yeah, Carbon got it.
They've just got such a dominant hold at the moment. Look at this positioning from this team. You've got BVK sitting on the high ground, so that's one space occupied. You've got the tank lineup just sitting around on the corner with Harsh just ready to take full advantage of the map, having that hull on the cooldown, able to just drag bodies kicking, screaming into the water. And then you've got the rest of them, Plata just being so mobile up in the air, denying Brainstorm the chance to try to approach the killer entirely.
Interesting swap now going for the Sigma Diva, and they've already found value with a nice move onto one push man. They've been too far forward, so that is something that you're not going to get back, but a headshot on the Tracer, that is going to be big to open it up once again for the defense, and that is when the barrage comes on through. They find a fair bit more. Res gonna come on through as well. Harsh back, one main tank to try and hold on to this point. As you see Baka dropping quite low, no shield available anymore. It's gonna get hooked away. Your kinetic grasp is not gonna save you this time anymore. But Brainstorm is still coming back with the reinforcements.
coming back with counter picks as well, though, and just giving them so many favors. But BVK is still picking off the heads.
The heads are the ones that you want to keep on your neck to keep this fight on going. Ruby's gonna get demacked, and it looks like this is clean up.
This is what happens when you have an uncontested Widow. Yes, Brainstorm come in with counters, but really it's the counter to the Pharah. No one is dealing with the Widow, and BVK has shown they are more than capable of connecting those shots if they don't have to worry about anyone coming for them. At this point, I want to see Ruby just boost into the Widow's face and start dissuading her from all of this advantage she's taking. But no, it's going to be the Lucio who hands her back instead.
No one can
But
hide
while that's
from
going
my
on,
sight.
Plata already finds the other hit scan on the one hit scan on the enemy team. I've got the Pharah with free reign. They do have some high ground contest as they drop down, trying to stay alive. And that's it's gonna be so much invested. The sound barrier to try and keep everyone alive, which is not gonna be enough. Carmen are gonna hold on to this one.
This is very painful, but if you're Brainstorm, you're coming in with a surefire way to take the pharmacy off. Because you're gonna have Martin coming in with this Deadeye Bell. And if anything can knock Pharmacy out of the sky immediately, well, it's a Deadeye. You're gonna have to be so careful about how you put it in though. You're not running the Zarya, so you can't bubble him. Sigma Shield can be taken out of the fight almost instantly. Ruby is actually probably just gonna have to donate the entirety of defense matrix behind that McCree to keep him up so BVK cannot just take that ultimate off before the Pharmacy goes down.
60 seconds on the clock. We're gonna have to be able to do something. The payload is only halfway to the first checkpoint. We've got the Sombra trying to just kind of scout out in the back line. Visibility just trying to get anything really done as a swap off to a dive composition. The second basically full team swap that comes in. That is the High Noon. It's gonna get hooked. It's gonna get denied. The flashback, however, is gonna make sure that he doesn't get killed immediately. Harsh gets taken down. And a Diva bomb in the back line doesn't find anything. Plata does get the main tank from Brainstorm out of the way, and now BVK with a nice open sideline is gonna click some more heads, gets 3 in a row. BVK just carrying this team to victory at this point.
Not only that, but Plata as well, because Plata was just constantly hounding down, building that barrage up. Diana wasn't able to keep her focus on the main tanks, so they fall down pretty easily. That is going to be Carbon. No one bothered to try to counter their DPS, and they lose the map to Brainstorm because of it. Carbon go up to 0.
They do go up to 0, so that means that next map could be, well, match point. And here's like just watching these barrages go off. Plata with, yeah, getting basically all this free reign to get all of this damage done. It was a very good play from Carbon.
Yeah, well, you can't just give your hat off to Plata because the entirety of Carbon are backing this far up, and that is when you start finding value with very specific heroes. Pharmacy, when you try to go for that barrage, even if you have that damage boost on you, even if you've got that healing beam focused solely on yourself, it's very easy to knock her out. She is completely immobile, can only turn around, and when Diva is so prevalent in meta, can just boost up, not even have to worry about using that defense matrix, can just make the Pharah kill herself in the action by just reflecting those rockets back off the top of the mech. So Carbon, they put in so many things to make sure that Plata is able to pull through. You saw that the Deadeye was invested, you saw that the Whole Hog was invested. It was a whole trio of things that Brainstorm just were not able to stop the tide of.
They were not, and you're definitely right in saying like this is a full team team effort in getting that nice crossfire in. Like it's a triple crossfire, as you mentioned. You had the tanks on the low ground, you have the Widow on the high ground, you've got that Pharah raining death from above. Like, where are you gonna go?
And if you're Brainstorm, they're trying at the moment, it feels like, to deal with the front line. They're not dealing with the sidelines. They're not dealing properly with BVK because we didn't really get to see the Widow sniper off. The Widow that they gave us swapped pretty quickly to the McCree, so BVK was getting a little bit of free reign. And, well, yes, the McCree was in the equation. It didn't feel like Plata was pressured out in the slightest. That could be some down to some really good play from the Mercy pocket, keeping the Pharah alive. But at certain times, it felt like some things that you can use to just immediately take the Pharmacy threat down, Deadeye being a huge one of them, was used to pressure the front line. and didn't find value because of it, because McCree tried to put it in, tried to get some of the tanks low. Unfortunately, was just too close and got hooked out and didn't find anything other than death.
And a fast way back to spawn. Now, however, it's going to be Hanamura that we'll be seeing next, where these teams will be matching it up, where Carbon will be looking for their victory. So what would you want them to do, honestly?
Carbon, I feel like they just need to keep doing what they're doing, Val, because it's working for them. On the other side, Brainstorm, I want to see these guys start really knuckling down and identifying these things that have been giving them the most problems. Yes, they've been trying to pressure out the front line. Unfortunately, you can only pressure out the front line so much when your own team is just in complete chaos and a riz, because you've just been ripped to shreds off the sidelines.
You're just getting ripped to shreds indeed. GG Martin, however, on the Symmetra, Feeder Teleporter strats. How are Carbon gonna deal with this? Teleporter is down, it is on point, everyone is already on point, and Mortality Field is now down from Carbon. Just get taken out. Plata with a nice pick onto Dem. No more main healer available. Ruby dropping quite low. We have some trades coming on through for both sides. Carbon looking a bit more strong here. Kel'Thuzad still on point. It's gonna get the pick off, and Brainstorm actually is gonna catch them off guard.
Well, the Symmetra teleport strat, it sometimes works in Hanamura, sometimes it doesn't, but Brainstorm will be swinging it in their favor. Carbon were running a composition that wasn't really based around dealing with that one, Val. They had that Orisa in the mix, that Roadhog, not the most mobile of tanks.
To not, the Stacey Roll comes in with a far more mobile character. So she just kind of speed boosting around the payload as the reinforcements come in. They're trying to hold on to this. Immortality Field already taken out. That is where the tower comes in. Will there be enough? Immortality Field is still there. Now tower's gonna get taken out. That is such a shame. And this is gonna make it so that Brainstorm will be able to start pushing on through with a very nice attack.
And even though the swaps came through on the side of Brainstorm, the fact that Carbon tried to go for that last second contest has allowed that team to start building ultimates of their own. Martin is 50% nearly to that Deadeye, does get taken out pretty early on before the next engagement can begin by BBK. So if you are Brainstorm, you are waiting around for your DPS. Nope, they're just gonna go straight into the fight. 5 versus 6.
Baka just going forward and just forcing his team to follow him. He's gonna get taken out here. Are dropping a bit low, but BVK once again from the top rope, clicking heads. That Blossom finds the main tank from Carbon. That is some value that you get, and Brainstorm are getting some more picks off. Are they going to be able to pull this one off? One pushman, the next to drop as the reinforcements are going to come on through. Plata now back on the McCree, wins the fight versus the Mini Diva, and McCree, this is going to pick up 4 here to break it back.
And Plata was on the McCree for what, 10 seconds? 50% to Deadeye. Pal, this guy is an absolute monster, managing to just pretty much single-handedly sway the favor back, for his team once again. Even though the defense is, that the respawn is so much closer to the defender side, so the reinforcements would have been coming in that much faster. Brainstorm didn't really have the best of opportunities, especially going in 5 versus 6, but they found so much for it. And now going in 6 versus 6, back coming up with the shadows, you would expect to have the same sort of outcome.
We already have a lot of people dropping very low back and down already. Fairly down. GD Martin's gonna hide. Noon is gonna find the Ana, so that is gonna make sure that there is no main healer available. Harsh is gonna be punished for that one. As the bomb comes on straight into the sky, doesn't find anything, but it doesn't need to. As Kel'Thuzad have already found to the shatter. He's gonna just put Plata on the floor. 1-6 still not given up as the reinforcements necessarily start coming in. A nice anti-nade, but there's no one there to really get any value off of it. So now the Nano onto Harsh, still not given up. The shatter on the gun and taken out. The Death Blossom denied by a flashbang, and Carbon will hold on to it, still not having given up anything.
Oh, stubbornness is apparently the stuff that Carbon is made of. Well, you heard it here first. These guys, they're just not wanting to give up anything. And Ruby, well, Ruby's gonna be wanting the sweet release of death. That poor Diva is absolutely surrounded. This just feels something like an intervention bell, but no. Ruby will finally be sent back to spawn, and Brainstorm can start trying to regroup. But Carbon, they're in control of this fight, Bell. They're currently in control of the only ultimate on the board. TZ rolls. Gonna have that sign there in case things start getting a little bit hairy for his team. Doesn't necessarily have anything that he needs to worry about putting it towards just yet. Brainstorm not really being in control or near to any of these aggressive ultimates, the closest being Amlagon on that defense matrix, but you can just counter it by, you know.
Got BBK trying to play a bit of main tank, pumping some damage from the front line here. Ruby's gonna be doing some work trying to get the defense matrix in there. That is a Death Blossom and a quick team kill. It's only Diana left, but not for long.
Yeah, with your Brainstorm though, you do have your amplification matrix on the board. You have 2 minutes 15 seconds in the clock to try to find something to work with. But Bell, here's where things start getting just a little bit hairy for Brainstorm. They're going to be walking in to a Graph. They're going to be walking into a Deadeye, a Nano, and a Sandra. If Carbon play their cards right, they just need to put a Grab in, they can win the next team fight. The next team fight they can win by putting the Sandra in and getting very aggressive and up into Brainstorm's faces. They can just cycle through these ultimates until the time just burns down to absolutely nothing.
Very much do that as we have Brainstorm once more trying to get to the backline. They have spotted a BVK. That is an opening pick. No more Reaper available. So we're probably going to see them go a bit more aggressive. They're trying to have down the McCree here on the other side. They've got Ruby going a bit more aggressive. But no, we've got Plata making it out safely as Barca just gets a trade. Now the Graviton coming in. No defense matrix to take it out. And Isolate is going to give everyone just an extra bit of health, but it's not enough. Carbon will hold it.
And again, such restraint from this team. They won it with one ultimate battle. One ultimate. And that's what they need to do. They've got 1 minute on the clock that they need to hold just a little bit longer for. Yes, Brainstorm are going to be coming in some pretty heavy hitters. The ones that I'm really looking at are the ones that can be combined. You've got Backer sitting on the Shatter. Ruby going to be coming into that bomb. But here's the thing. The way Carbon are playing, hiding up on the high ground, well, Brainstorm are going to have to get up there before they can even try to put those in, let alone chain them up. That is more than enough time for them to lose one person early, and losing one person early is going to be absolutely devastating for this fight.
Very devastating as that Shatter comes in the backline, already 2 picks. The counter Shatter is going to get blocked by the shield. Now it's a fight of Goliath versus Goliath. Harsh just charging into the backline. Diva Bomb on point will not find any value as Baka is the only one left. It's 15 seconds on the clock. Doesn't look like Brainstorm will be able to do much more.
And Hamlagon still has this amplification matrix spell. I've lost track of the amount of team fights with that. Batiste has had that one available. It feels very much like it should have been used to initiate the fight, and Brainstorm may well suffer because of it.
Hit the point, so the contest is gonna come on through. However, Ruby already out of the mech. Bacchus is gonna fall off the map, doesn't manage to get the sling off, and unfortunately that is going to be a Carbon holding on to this point. No one there anymore to stagger it out.
Well, Brainstorm did a couple of things pretty much perfectly in that fight. Honestly, in that map, I should say. They have seen that Plata, if left alone, will just immediately be that one win condition for Carbon. And so when that McCree is there on the point in, I think it was one of those halfway fights where he had Deadeye up, you see that the Ryan invests Shatter in to try and knock him down to the ground. The Diva goes after him with Defense Matrix. So Brainstorm are starting to see the problems that have really been causing them to lose these fights. Unfortunately, a new problem has reared its head, and that is initiating with ultimates. This team very much like to use them as a reaction, Bell, and whilst yes, some of them you can do it like that, you can defensively Diva Bomb, you can try and get that defensive counter Shatter. Amplification Matrix is less so, because when you're attacking and you try to use Amplification Matrix in a defensive way, well, you do find that most people tend to just find some cover or walk away. I would much rather have seen them go on to that main approach, just set up on point, plonk down the window, and force Carbon to either let a take be given up or to come to them, and then they can start sweeping in the kills.
Well, I'm looking at the compositions at the moment, and Carbon more for what we expected, but the Symmetra. Brainstorm, however, less conventional.
Something a little bit strange, sure, but Kel'Thuzad on this Ashe, I actually approve of, because if they're expecting the sim strats, well, you can just coach gun the team away, and then that allows your team to get the chance to just try and sweep in to the ones remaining, because that sim strat is gonna be going straight down, and no, the rotation will come through.
This is gonna come through a bit late. The wall up as well. It's gonna make it very difficult to get on point. Kel'Thuzad dropping quite low already. Baka out of mech. Zen, Baka both gone. And this is already 3 picks. Hearts just getting all of the value here. And Carbon is gonna take the point basically just as fast.
Carbon with the same strat that Brainstorm used, and so you are left scratching your head just a little bit for wondering why this team didn't set up with something on point which would deny the Symmetra teleporter strat. In fact, it worked so well for Carbon, they didn't have to worry about swapping the Symmetra off. They're just gonna go straight for point rebound. Teleport on over the side, Planet picks up Gem. This is go time for the team.
This is definitely go time as the second pick comes in through Amagon and dropping low. Gigi Martin, the next good Diva, can barely make it out. Baka gone, and this is so much blue in the kill feed as we have them, the last man standing, trying to just get on point. One tech Carbon with a clean 3-0 map victory will take the win for the first rookie division stream.
And my goodness, these guys, they look, if they continue the run that we saw today, they look like they really could dominate this tournament as well in this division, because what we saw was clean. So clean. The ultimates that they put in, the win conditions that they knew they had, the things that they knew they had to get out of the way for them to find value, whether it was beating out Immortality Field, whether it was knuckling down on supports, whether it was dealing with the front line, they seem to all have it in the bag. Meanwhile, Brainstorm, well, yes, they did some things very well. Others, they lacked a little bit in, and Carbon, they just ran away with that fact all the way home and all the way into the 3-0.
They did. One thing, if I could give a bit of advice to Brainstorm, is get a bit more Lucio in there. Do you really want to go aggressive? Get your Lucio, speed in. I think that was very much a key point between these two teams that could have really made a difference. But unfortunately, we can only have one winner. So we'd like to have everyone win, but that's not how a tournament works. So with that being said, Carbon grabs as well the victory with a very clean 3-0. So congratulations to Carbon, congratulations to both of these teams. It was a lovely set of maps to watch, at least. I very much enjoyed it, seeing all of these different heroes coming out.
I mean, I got to see Ashe for all of about 5 seconds, but I got to see Ashe, and everyone always goes, oh, McCree is a really good Pharah counter, and Soldier is a really good Pharah counter, and everyone just sort of forgets about Ashe, and it makes me a little bit sad, because, I mean, Bob, Bell, he's just left unloved and sitting in a spawn room somewhere.
There's no one who does not love Bob. So send your Valentine's Day cards to Bob. That'll probably be very wonderful to do. And that will be us signing off for the first stream day of GitGud EU Season 4.5. But later on, we will be continuing with GitGud NA Season 4.5, the first day for that as well. So keep your eye on that. It's going to be some good matches there as well. So something interesting to look forward to. This is me, BellyOW, and my wonderful co-caster Moxie signing off. We hope you have a wonderful evening and weekend, and we'll see you next time.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just do it.
Oh my god, it's huge!
Oh! Kill!
Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
Magzan. I need top.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, Then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the ELO Hell Pickup Games Discord and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in game.